Hey everyone. For this video, I thought I'd try something a bit different, or at least it's something that I personally haven't done before, and I'm going to respond directly to some of the comments that people have been leaving on my other videos. Now this isn't something that I had planned to do originally, and I didn't make an announcement that I was going to do a Q&A video, so I'm going to make all of these questions anonymous. Plus, most of these come from multiple people anyway, so let's get started. Craig McCracken really created Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, not Lauren Faust. Yeah, this has been a long time coming. Now, back in my My Little Pony rant video, I said that Lauren Faust had previously created Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. This is, unfortunately, a common mistake that's been spreading through the fandom, and it looks like I got caught up in it too. And even though Lauren did work on the show, it was actually created by her husband, Craig McCracken, who also created the Powerpuff Girls. And I think it's important to make that distinction because, number one, it's disrespectful to Mr. McCracken, who really did the creating, and two, because it's disrespectful to Ms. Faust, who worked on the show as a writer, story supervisor, co-developer, and storyboard artist. And to bundle all that up and say, oh yeah, she created the whole thing, is in a way being dismissive of all the hard work that she actually did. So, to Lauren Faust, Craig McCracken, and all of my viewers, I just want to say officially that I made a mistake, and I'm sorry. What are you going to review next? I definitely want to go back and review the Friendship is Magic Season 2 episodes that I haven't covered yet, with one exception. Due to a rather unfortunate series of events recently, I will no longer be reviewing the last roundup. I'm very sorry to anyone who might be disappointed to hear that, but it just can't be helped. I do plan on talking about a particular scene from that episode, but as for a full episode review, that's been cancelled. Again, I'm sorry. Will you be reviewing Season 1 episodes? Maybe. I certainly wouldn't have any problem doing that. It's just a matter of finding the time to get to everything. Will you be reviewing fanfiction? Again, maybe. I've thought about it, and there is actually a surprising amount of fanfiction for My Little Pony that is very entertaining and well written. However, there are a number of problems to keep in mind. Each one follows its own separate continuity, a number of stories are still incomplete or in the process of being rewritten, and I have to admit that I'm kind of a slow reader, so it takes extra time to get through. Again, this is not meant as an outright rejection, just a reminder that all things take time. You were too harsh on the cutesy talk in Hearts and Hooves Day. Yeah, a number of people have taken issue with my review of Hearts and Hooves Day. You know, if I could do this review over again, well, I still would have given it the same score, but I think I would have worded a few things differently. Now, I have given it some more thought, and I've started to realize that it wasn't just the cutesy talk that was bothering me, but the fact that everything these characters do is because of the love potion, and so we don't really get to know them. By comparison, there was a similar scene in Lesson 0 where Twilight uses a spell that makes everyone, including Big Macintosh, fight over her Smarty Pants doll. And that sequence had some funny moments, but the part that everyone remembers most is when the spell is lifted and Big Mac still wants the doll. That part is so much funnier and sweeter and more interesting because that's the real Macintosh, and that moment gives us more to think about than when he's just blindly following a spell. The love potion dialogue in Hearts and Hooves Day wasn't just painful because it was cute, it's because it was fake. And I'll remind you, it went on for half the episode. That's half an episode of potential character development wasted while we watch Big Macintosh and Cheerilee say and do the same things over and over again. It was boring and frustrating. And while you're welcome to disagree, I hope this at least helps clear up where I'm coming from on the issue. The kiss between Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy wasn't meant to imply anything because that sort of behavior is more acceptable for girls. Now, I certainly wasn't trying to imply that any of my guy friends would do something like that, at least not the straight ones, but I have also had friends who were girls, and again, this is just something I've personally never encountered. If you're lucky enough that you can be that close to your friends, then that's great, but I would still argue that even if this was meant to be a friendly kiss, there are still people out there who would take it the wrong way and get offended because, well, some people are just like that. And to that end, I would still encourage the makers of the show to leave the scene the way it is. Pardon me, my fine fellow. While I find your videos rather charming, I'm afraid I must confess that I'm not a terribly big fan of My Little Pony. Will you be producing any non-pony material? Yes, as a matter of fact, I was reviewing the new Thundercats, but honestly, Thundercats has been incredibly frustrating lately, and I think the show's biggest problem, ironically enough, is that it just can't seem to figure out who it's for. The premiere episodes presented this as a show for an older teenage crowd, but then half the time it feels like it's made for much younger children. And obviously, it is possible to have a show that appeals to multiple audiences, but the way it's handled here is jarringly inconsistent to the point of being insulting if you go into this expecting a more mature show. which I was, because that's what the opening episodes promised. And meanwhile, there are at least 2 other shows on right now that are better in every possible way: Young Justice and The Legend of Korra. Kudos to both of these shows for actually living up to their potential so far. So that's all I have time to answer right now. Thanks for listening. Now, depending on how this goes, I might do more of these Q&A videos sometime in the future. Let me know what you think. I'll see you later.